Everyone, making another update on my A&K PTW. I deleted my other one because it was like 15 minutes long, and I was talking about my brother's PTW in that too, and I made a separate video on his gun, so I'm just going to do this as a separate video, and I got more information on why this isn't working, and I found some parts for it to get it working. So, starting with the magazines, I have two of these A&K ones, and then I have 5 brand new CTW ones. I have not really tried the CTW ones, and I have tried this, and this feeds great. So feeding may be hit or miss. I will be using 0.25 gram BBs, so I don't know. We'll see how feeding is. I'll mention that on my second update once it's working. I'll mention if the magazines feed or if I had to fix them or anything like that or lubricate them. I will mention that then, but for now, until this gun is up and running, I did test this in my brother's Systema, and it worked fine, and he has some CTW mags he used in his, and his worked fine. So we'll see, because the previous owner that owned this gun did say that it chopped BBs with the CTW mags. But that's kind of common with higher FPS setups with these PTWs. My brother one of his cylinders was shooting like 450 with 2s, and it was chopping them. And then we cut the spring, and it doesn't chop anymore. So, yeah. I don't know how common that is, but... So, this is an A&K base, so it is an A&K body, which is fairly solid. It's the same spec as, like, Systema, so it's much more realistic than your standard AEG body, which is nice. It's like aluminum. It's not like a pot metal, otherwise it would be abnormally heavy. It's more like an aluminum. Not sure what. It's probably not CNC. I doubt it. I did swap selector switches because the original A&K one was completely torn apart by the ball bearing in here. It's not as responsive as my brother's, his Systema. It like clicks perfectly. It literally feels like a real AR or M4 selector switch. This one, not so much. But it does work as of now, but the ball bearing may tear this one up too. But this is a Systema, I think. It may be a CTW one. But it's in much better condition. I have a CTW motor in the pistol grip. I have a Systema base plate, which is cool. The CTW motor, it's upside down. The CTW motor in here, I'm not sure what generation it is, or if there's like any different generations. I haven't followed up with CTW stuff, but there is a CTW motor in here, and the pinion's kind of chewed up, so when I go to replace the electronics, I will pull that pinion off and put my A&K pinion on there, and the A&K pinion is in great condition. So I'll fix that. The electronic, or the ECU here is A&K, and the MOSFET is Airsoft Surgeon, and they're actually not compatible. And Zach had worked on this, and there was no response for some reason. And he tried a Systema ECU, and there was no response. So I'm not sure why the Systema ECU didn't work with the Airsoft Surgeon MOSFET. I'm not sure if the Airsoft Surgeon MOSFET's like broken already, because I heard it's hit or miss. So what I'm going to do is I'm just buying an A&K ECU and MOSFET from a guy that just got a A&K, and he's upgrading, so I'm getting it for super cheap. It's going to be brand new, so he's just going to send me a video of it functioning as soon as he pulls it out of the box, and then he's going to basically take it apart and send it to me, and I'm going to install it. So it's going to be the whole wiring setup. I'm going to swap to Dean's. I'll take the Dean's from this wiring setup probably. I have plenty of Dean's though, so I can just use a brand new one, but I'll wire it to Dean's, and then I'll throw it together again. I will also replace the pinion with the A&K one that I have, because it's in much better condition, and I'm going to put it together and see if it works. That's really the only thing I can do, and if it doesn't, then I'm probably just going to give it to Zach to hold on to for a while to try to figure it out, because at that point it's just like mysterious. Something in the gearbox is like jammed up or something if it's not working. I use Nanotech 1200 milliamp 11.1s. They're 15 and 25C, so they're not so powerful, so it shouldn't burn out the ECU or the MOSFET. The A&K ones aren't the best, but some people argue they're better than DTW, and some people say they're on par with CTW, but some people say CTWs are garbage. If you ask anybody, they're just like, you know, Systemos are the best, and they are, but they're expensive. So up here, got this A&K charging handle, locks into the receiver with the A&K upper, Troy battle sights. There's the, what is this? Is this a, it says right there, URX4, 13-inch. It's a nice armament. These are $80 on Evike. Got an RVG on there. Waiting for a different flash hider. I ordered a Magpul Battle Comp, but this is a really cool one. The Battle Comp should be here by the end of this coming week. It's coming from China. Hopefully it'll be here by Friday. This coming Friday, which is like 5 business days away, so I hope. And then hop up barrel and bucking. I think it's all A&K, but the guy did say it was FCC, but he also said the electronics were FCC, and they're not. I got this for a steal, though, so I'm not too concerned. I got it for, even with him, with the parts not being FCC, it's still worth twice as much of what I paid for it. So the hop-up is pretty good. I did test it with my cylinder and BBs and with my brother's lower, and it shoots. I had it sight in for about 150 feet with 2 5s. Pretty good. This charging handle in here. And then the cylinder is A&K. It's pretty solid. I shimmed the back of it so it's shimmed properly. I have a A&K spring that I cut down. It was shooting about 400 with .2s, I believe. I think that was what it was. I was a little bit above that, so I'm not sure what spring's in here. But I went ahead and cut it, and now it's high 360s, low 350s with .2s, which is what my CTB limit at the fields that I play at are. So 380, it's kind of high, but I'm under 370. I'm like high 360s or low 360s. It's like in the 360s. It's pretty consistent. Once in a while we get one that's kind of lower, but other than that, it doesn't fluctuate like every round. It's pretty consistent. So that's that. I do have another spring that I can cut for any FPS I want. I think it's an M130, so it is a heavy spring. So I could cut that if I want for a little bit higher FPS. But I don't know what I'll do with that spring. I need to test this. I'm kind of concerned. This spring here is so weak that it may not feed properly, because I did test this in my brother's gun, and it was feeding every other round, but it may have been the magazine or just some other variable, because I think this spring was in his cylinder, not this cylinder. So this cylinder may function with this spring. If not, again, I have that spring, the other spring that I can cut to a little bit heavier, higher FPS, which I don't really want. I want 370, but if I have to, I guess I have to get it to feed. But it should feed, so that's the only concern really, is that this will not feed properly. It'll feed like every other round or so because of the weak spring in here, because the way it works is the piston gets pulled back and it pulls the nozzle because there's no tappet to touch the gear, and then once the spring gets back a certain, or the piston gets back a certain place, it releases the nozzle. So a little bit of a different system, but we'll see if it works or not. Again, I tried this spring in my brother's cylinder, and it fed every other round. It may have been the magazine, it may have been his cylinder, or it's the spring is just not powerful enough, but it's getting about 370 FPS, 360, 370. So it shouldn't be any issue with that, because plenty of people use M19 or M90 springs and get like 320, 330 with 2s. And they function fine, so it shouldn't be that, but we'll see. Again, the hop-up's pretty dang good, so I will have another video on this in probably 2 weeks after I get the A&K ECU and MOSFET in, and I'll replace the pinion gear, and then get it all tested out. So probably 2 more weeks for this, and then later this week I will have a video on my DSG CQBR. It'll be done, but G&G screwed me over on the ECU MOSFET. So I lost $50 on that, so I'm just using the basic MOSFET, thanks to them. So, yeah, I'll make a video on that. So, because I'm not happy with G&G. But if you have any questions, comment below. So that's my PTW right now. I will make a second video. The second video may be when it's complete, it's totally functioning, and I shoot it outside. I don't know if I'll make another video, another update, and then a shooting. I'll probably try to combine them so that I do a shooting video on the second update of this, because I don't want to make a whole bunch of videos on this gun. Hopefully just one more, and then I can put it up on my wall. Not up on my wall, but against my wall with all my other functioning guns. And my DSG is about to be up there too. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys later.